He's back. And welcome back to Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the coach, Philip Roybal. And if you love college football, you're definitely in the right place. So before you forget, smash that red subscriber button, like our videos, and don't forget to ring the bell so you don't miss one moment of Hall of Fame College Football with Jason and the coach. Welcome in, Coach. Glad to have you back, damn it.
Man, it's good to be back. I know, I've been so inconsistent. Hell, I'm glad I'm not playing for somebody because my inconsistency has been incredible. But just know this, guys. It's not because I hadn't wanted to be on here and visiting with you guys, and because y'all are all friggin' awesome. So.
Man, we knew what it was about. I mean, I've been telling everybody what's been going on. You've been busy, man. I understand it. We all got stuff going on at certain times. It's the off season, so it's not that big a deal. But tonight we get to talk about some stuff that we've been meaning to get into anyway. Before we do that, I want to take just 1 second to shout out our partners at Hall of Fame College Football, Mint Mobile. Guys, if you have not already tried Mint Mobile, I don't know what else I can say. They are an amazing company. The largest 5G network in the country. 3 months unlimited talk, text, data for $45. And the beauty of it is, and this is what I've been trying to kind of get across there, is you don't have to switch your carrier right away if you're concerned about loss of signal, things like that. Try it out on the same phone that you have online. You do not have to deal with salespeople. You take the phone that you have, you log on to our website there. It's trymintmobile.com/HOF. That's trymintmobile.com/HOF. That's right there on the bottom there, right there. And look, they have an eSIM card that allows you to have, basically it would work as two numbers on the same phone. You can try them out while you're waiting to see what it's going to be for you, right?
Oh, cool.
It works out really good. I only ended up doing it for a month, but it gives you 3 months at $45. Definitely helps the program, but it's unbelievable. I just wanted to shout them out real quick before awesome. We got started. Yeah, look, the other beautiful thing, guys, let's take a look. We've been wanting to talk about this for a while, Coach. We've been talking, and you and I have said it a lot. I think it's been brought up a lot, but we hadn't really gotten too much in it. I wanted to break down tonight just how similar these coaches, these programs are in the trajectory that they're on. It's kind of weird. Every time we start talking about it, and you'll talk about a certain position group, or I'll talk about a certain position group, and there's a lot of similarities. There's a lot of similarities, and I realize that it's a little bit different, but I'll tell you what. What if you want to? Hey, you could definitely do that, Ryan. If you want a new number, so you can ask people their car warranty has ran out, or if the refrigerator's running, try it through Mint Mobile. I think that obviously the owner of that company, which is, hey, it would be just perfect for a Ryan Reynolds company for you to use it for that. It's fun stuff, good stuff. Anyway, it doesn't really matter. For $15 a month, after that first 3 months, the initial 3 months, it goes to $30. I was just saying earlier today, between my mom and myself through Verizon, it was $200 for our phones.
Yeah.
Now paying $60 after the 3 months. Crazy stuff, right? Kerwin Terry, good to see you, my man. I'm gonna go ahead and say hello to everybody who's in here. We've got Mom's in here. Hey, Mom.
All right.
Hey, yeah, good to see you, Mom. Hankster, Steve B, Sooner Legend Podcast, Timothy. Glad to see everybody in here. Ryman Lemon, Kyle DePuis, Kerwin, man. Good to see Kerwin. Good to see Kerwin, man. I haven't seen him in a while. Good to see. Actually, but Coop was in here. His nephew was in here last week, talking a little bit on here. So it was good to see him come on. Love to have these guys on the show at some point. It's sometime good. Hope everything is good, man. Hope everything's good. What's up, man? How you been? Hadn't talked to you in a while. We're gonna have to chat. All right. But again, we talked about this a lot. Third-year head coaches, first-time head coaches. Obviously, there's a difference between Venables and Marcus obviously hasn't been an assistant as long, but he's actually kind of had a meteoric rise as far as being a defensive coach. When he took over, I mean, it seemed like the Notre Dame program was absolutely excited about the fact that they were getting him as a head coach. I think Oklahoma fans and the former Oklahoma players that had played for him were super excited about Venables as well.
Yes.
But we're talking about two defensive-minded guys, two tireless recruiters, great staff. They're good at building staffs. It appears that Notre Dame is kind of allowing Freeman to have a little bit more freedom. So as far as what his staff is concerned, finally you got a new offensive coordinator. Oklahoma has a new offensive coordinator. There's a lot, but there's still a lot of continuity within these two programs. Did you guys end up with a new DC as well this year?
No. We got Al Golden is back again for the third year, and I tell
Al
you what,
Golden. Well, that's one of the better ones out there.
Yeah. So yeah, we're excited he's back, and like you said, continuity.
Continuity is important, even though with your new offensive coordinator at Oklahoma, obviously you've got Seth Luttrell and Joe John Finley as co-coordinators. Seth will be calling the plays. They were both on the staff last year. There's going to be a few changes, I think, to the offense, but not a ton. The verbiage will stay a lot the same, and there will be some differences. But also, I would say,
come on, Hank, you got to quit poking at me now.
I knew that was coming too. One of them was going to do it. You already knew. Hey, look. Yeah, he's not a dark SUV hating, brisket burning, coward ass kissing snake. That's the best thing about Brent Venables for sure. Yeah. Rob, welcome into the show too. I think I may have skipped over you there. Sorry about that. Welcome into the show again. One of the only Mizzou fans that I've seen in here that's been cool. So yeah. Anyway, Coach,
wipe your feet, guys. Wipe your feet. Wipe your
obviously, we talked. Yeah, please make sure you wipe your feet. Hit that like button. If you're not already a subscriber, make sure you do that as well. Coach, we hadn't got to talk a whole lot. I know you jumped into the after show that I was doing with K. Chris on here for the OU spring game. You had just got done watching Notre Dame spring game. Talk to me about what you saw there, and then we'll kind of get back into these comparison things. But talk to me about what you saw in it, what you were impressed with, what you didn't like, where you think they're headed.
Well, I tell you what, I offensively, I like the way we were stretching the field vertically, which is we haven't done that. We definitely didn't do it last year. And so we've got some receivers. We brought in some receivers into the receiver room that are making a difference, that we can get vertical on people really quick. And obviously our running back room, guys, we've got a bevy of running backs. So we're super excited about what that looks like. Quarterback, that position, guys, has improved tremendously, although Riley Leonard wasn't able to play in the spring game because he actually had to have another minor surgery on that ankle because he was getting a stress fracture. So they went in and fixed that. But I tell you what I liked about him was he stayed engaged. I mean, you could see him even in the spring game. He was back behind the quarterbacks going through the
mental reps
plays just like mental reps. Yeah. And so I was really impressed with that. But I will say this, the concern that I have is one of the concerns that I hate to have is our offensive line. And it's at the tackle positions.
Another similarity.
I just am struggling right now. Well, we lost two guys to the NFL that went to the NFL. We had Joe Alt, obviously our left tackle he was the fifth pick in the draft. So boy, it would have been nice to have him back and to have both of our tackles back. But at the end of the day, that's my biggest concern right now is our offensive tackles. I think inside we're going to be okay. It's guys that are coming
The
back.
interior of the offensive line.
Yeah, the interior is. I think we're fine. It's guys that played last year. They're fighting for some spots there. So, but that both offensive tackles have me a little twitch that I have going on, just a little twitch, but but it's got me concerned. But and then defensively, guys, I tell you what, our defensive we are so deep in the defensive front that it's incredible. Our nose guards and defensive tackles, we're very strong up in there, and our linebacker core. I feel good about that. Although we're playing some young guys,
Yeah.
but I feel like we're going to be just fine. Jack Kaiser's the only one returning that has a lot of experience.
Sure.
But we're more talented there than we were. And then in our secondary, obviously, we've got some nice corners that I think we're going to be fine. And I think in the secondary overall, we're better off than we have been again. So overall, I honestly, I see us having a tremendous defense coming up this year, which, you and I have talked. I think OU's going to have a tremendous defense. I think we'll both be top 10 type defenses at OU and Notre Dame. So my big thing is, as we look to the fall, Jason, is can Riley Leonard come in and get things going enough before we go to A&M?
Yeah, I think that. Well, and I mean, as you said, I went back and watched some of the. I really wanted to see because knowing that Riley Leonard wasn't going to be there, you were probably going to get a lot of these younger guys, particularly your freshmen, quarterback, former head coach of Michigan's grandson, Lloyd Carr's. What's his name? First name was the kid can spin it. He made some amazing throws. They had 62-yard touchdown to one of your. And you had a receiver that's kind of similar to what we've seen out of Deion Burks at Oklahoma, but a 62-yard touchdown pass to Chris Mitchell, who came in from FIU, kind of under the radar guy. He's more of that slot speed guy that you're going to probably see a lot of. It just seems like a lot of similarities to me, Coach. It just seems like a lot of similarities in that.
There's no doubt. And, you were talking about Carr, CJ Carr, he's a
CJ, yeah. CJ, how the hell did I forget that? That's my son's name.
I was gonna ask you, hey, no. But I tell you what, and the thing about it, Steve Angeli, which now is the second teamer right now, Steve played well in the bowl game, but I think he's an adequate backup.
Sure.
But
as long as you are getting Riley in,
right,
and he's healthy, then you're going to be able to probably let CJ sit and simmer a little bit. Is that right? There's another similarity. Yeah. Okay.
I agree. And again, I think Steve, he's just going to kind of, it's kind of a ball control game with him. He's not going to beat you with the deep balls and those kinds of things. Now, Kenny Minchie, another sophomore, he's a good looking kid, and he now he can spin the ball, and he'll throw into some tight coverage. And you say, oh my God, he's not going to get it there, and between those guys, and boom, he gets it in there. But overall, if I was coaching that team and what I saw in the spring game, I would have Riley Leonard as my starter. CJ Carr would be my backup. And that's, but I know why they're not moving Carr to backup. It only makes sense.
I think they probably want to redshirt him. Yeah.
Because you'll lose the other two. They're going to, they'll jump in the portal and leave. So
it's still a competition no matter what, right?
Yeah.
kind of have to do that. Well, and you want to have some depth there, right? But I'd also think that something that you saw out of what did Hank say here? And this is funny. Kyle says one problem, they don't have BV and mini BV. True. True. He's of course talking about the new defensive coordinator, Zach Alley, who worked with Venables as an assistant, a grad assistant, and even while he was still in school at Clemson for 7 years. He's gone on to have great success. They kind of think of him as a clone. But I think that having gone away a little bit and been around some other coaches probably helped him a little bit. But it looks like one of the things that we've been talking about, and it's something that I've been reading about Freeman. First thing is I wanted to kind of go through this again one more time, but one of the things that I've been reading about Freeman, and it's the same thing that we kind of talk about a lot about Coach Venables. You've had this conversation with me a bunch. That learning curve of being the CEO, right? Coach Venables been coaching for a long time. He knows what he's doing as far as being a coach, but letting go of that defense and allowing somebody to step into that role that can call the plays and he can really oversee the entirety of the program. You're also, what I read about Freeman was they're hoping that clearly he still has some stuff to learn. I think bringing in Mike Denbrock was a huge thing for them on the offensive side. He doesn't have to concern himself so much with that. But the hope is that year 3, you're flattening that curve a little bit, don't you think?
Yes, absolutely. And I tell you what, I think this third year is a very crucial season. I'm not saying they're going to, if things don't go as planned, I'm not saying they're going to fire.
Of course not. No, I don't, and I don't think that's the case in Oklahoma either. But it's
let's just put it this way: shit or get off the pot. I mean, we got to get things rolling. But I truly believe this. I think both Notre Dame and Oklahoma are going to be in the playoffs, and I think they're going to have successful season this year. And again, I think it's attributed to the things we've talked about. The head coaches, their learning curve is they've come along, they've improved, they've learned from mistakes. The culture that they've created in both of those programs is completely different. I mean, you know what it was before BV got there, and it wasn't good. And Notre Dame was the same.
Soft as baby shit.
Oh, we were the same, and I'm telling you, that's why as much as I watch college football, and I'll tell you, I won't say it very loud, but silently I do root for the Sooners. Okay, but I'm not gonna. You'll never hear me say that again. But I truly. I've watched both of these programs, and there's so many comparisons between the two. It's just mind-blowing to me how they're doing this right here. They're so, and Jason and I've gone through the rosters, and we talk about receivers and all the similarities there. We talk about the quarterback similarities there. I mean.
A lot of talent in the room.
Yeah. And that's one thing, guys. That's one thing. And I tell you what, I'm honest when I tell you this. And you guys know I'm a proud Notre Dame supporter. But I have to tell you this. I am proud to be saying that we're in comparison to the University of Oklahoma. Lots of pride and tradition at the University of Oklahoma.
Blue Bloods. They're blue bloods. As blue as it gets.
Yeah. And I'm glad we can have the conversation. I'm glad I can say, you know what, we're very similar to Oklahoma in a lot of ways. I'm proud to be able to say that, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, and I think that, there's a little age difference or whatever, and of course, Freeman was an NFL guy. I mean, an injury kind of cut his career short. He was a hell of a player at Ohio State. Now, Brent Venables was never going to be an NFL guy, but he was a great linebacker there at Kansas State. Just, I mean, he was just hyper then. Is that story? You got to read that story that they had. That they were talking about the way they had to pour water on him to get him to calm down whenever he was at K-State. And I don't doubt that they do that still, right? But you see a lot of, particularly in the faith thing, you know, the way that they recruit. Notre Dame has plenty of money. Oklahoma has plenty of money, but they're never gonna start off there,
right,
with the bag. That's just not where they're gonna do. That's just not where they're gonna play in that area right now. And by the way, guys, I would tell you that there's going to be some things coming up here. Look, I'm going to go live in the morning as well. We'll do a lot more Oklahoma centered stuff then. We're going to keep this about Notre Dame and OU. But I'll tell you what, you're probably going to see an end to this nutty ass transfer portal sooner than later, which, you know, and you needed to probably have kind of what Josh Pate said a couple of weeks ago. You needed to have this silly shit happen so that it forced change. But turns out it ended up the Supreme Court is back in the middle of the NCAA's ass. We're going to see how it all shakes out, but it sounds to me like we're getting very close to a resolution and all that, where you're going to start seeing it done more above the table and where it's not something you have to think about a whole lot. If you're a coaching staff, you know who you're going to have at least for. I mean, you hear coaches like Kirby Smart say, I just want to know who I have for the year. Even if it's just for the year, that's enough for them at this point. I think that they may go take that a step further, but I don't think you're ever going to fall away from being able to transfer, but it won't be year after year or one cycle to the next. When that portal opens, you know, you've got a lot of guys that moved in the portal after the season. And now after the spring, they're back in the portal, particularly those guys at USC.
Absolutely. Now that's a damn mess.
I think you're going to see some of that still, but I do believe that this should help. And I think that the reason, though, that we're not seeing a ton of it at OU, and I know you haven't seen a ton of it at Notre Dame this time around, they're playing sparingly in the portal. Right, they're not trying to go and refill the entire roster like some places are. Texas has had to replace a ton all over it, and they're losing guys, and they've lost some guys back to it. The guys that you lost at Oklahoma, it's not a huge surprise. Justin Harrington ending up at Washington, he'd fallen down the depth chart because of his injury. He's going to go out there. I think it's a great move on his part. Same with Josiah Wagner going to Cal. They're both going to get an opportunity to kind of shine right now. They were probably going to be sitting on the bench. There's a lot of talent coming in. Coach, how impressive has Marcus been in your eyes on the recruiting trail? In comparison to what you saw with Brian Kelly, because there was always that excuse there that the academics were making it hard to recruit to Notre Dame.
Well,
it doesn't seem like that's the case.
And I got to tell you, Jason, that's what Marcus Freeman and his staff are doing. They're embracing the University of Notre Dame and their academics, and they're talking about, you know, it's not just for 4 years. It's for I think they call it 4 for 40, because it's, you know, it's a lifetime. Once you get a degree from there, and even if you don't go play in the NFL, it's still big time coming out of there. And
sure.
So they're embracing that instead of saying, well, you know, we can't recruit because we can't recruit against the Alabamas and the Georgias, and because, you know,
it was always a dead thing. They always had some excuse. There was always some excuse going around out there.
Hey, and we all know this. Excuses are like assholes.
Same thing that Oklahoma was doing. I mean, look at what did Lincoln say on his way? Well, I can't recruit, you know, elite defensive guys to Norman.
Yeah.
Well, but you can't do it to freaking SC either. Apparently.
SC, exactly.
You know,
he's
so
losing them in droves there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So no, but it's just and we talked about this earlier too. I think BV and his staff have done the same thing. they're embracing the institution, and Oklahoma football, guys, goes, and I'm not telling y'all anything you don't already know, but Oklahoma football's been a strong program for generations,
Sure.
and they're embracing that, and I'm telling you, both of those programs have embraced what their programs are about, where they've been, where they're going, and that's why they're going to continue to move up and be successful. Both programs.
I agree. But such as it is, you still have a lot of hate around, a lot of haters around. A lot of naysayers, a lot of people that are. It amazes me the more that I've done this. We're going. Coach, you're almost at a year and a half with us on the show. We're almost at 2 years starting June.
Wow.
We'll be at 2 years that this show's been here, so that's pretty cool. But I got to tell you, it's like the more that you see, even these national shows that, or your ESPNs and your the guys that are out there that should know better, right? That they've covered this sport for a long time. And it's so surface level when they start talking about some of these guys and what they're doing. And their memory is this short, or unless it behooves whatever their little narrative is. If it's, for instance, what we saw this past week, and we kind of have gone through this a little bit already, but I mean, Coach, this is, to me, it's unbelievable, right?
Hey, you want me to tell you what I think it is? I think it's a fucking joke. That's what this is right here. It's a fucking joke.
It's a joke. And look, it's not that. I think there's a lot of the coaches that belong on this list, right? I think there's a few that don't, and I think that there's a few that are ranked so high over what?
Yeah.
I mean, we can start off with, look, Ryan Day was born on third base.
Yeah.
The guy hasn't gotten it done yet, but he's number 4. Brian Kelly, I would say that being the winningest coach of all time at Notre Dame, even not recruiting as well as he had, I tend to agree. Look, he played for an SEC championship in year 1 with LSU. They had a Heisman Trophy winner in year 2. Their defense fell apart. I don't hate Brian as much as I know you do, and a lot of people around the country do. Kalen DeBoer, yeah, you took Washington to the national championship game. I'm good with that. But now I'm starting to get bugged here. Steve Sarkisian ahead of Dabo Swinney. He's won 10 games one fucking time. Once.
Oh.
Mike Norvell. Yeah. What the hell is Mike Norvell? He had an undefeated season. Good for him. I mean.
But what else?
Yeah. Lincoln. Yeah, he took over at Oklahoma for a program that was ready-made for them. They went to the playoff 3 times under him. Couple of Heisman guys. I think he's the best offensive mind in the country. I'll tell you that. We know that he doesn't know how to pull it all together, and they're soft. Lane Kiffin, when he wins the next big game, it'll be the first one that he's won. I like Lane. I think he's a good coach. I'd say he's better than Sark. But I don't like either one of them in the top 15 here. I just don't.
No.
Dan Lanning, what the hell has he done? He's lost to Washington 3 times. At a place that kids want to go play, at Oregon, and they're just not getting it done.
What about James Franklin? Oh, my God. Oh, my freaking
The dude is 3-20 against Oklahoma or Ohio State and Michigan. 3-20.
I can't even believe his name is on this list.
Yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I mean, but again, Dabo Swinney. I mean, look, I think that Dabo's losing his touch because of his unwillingness to evolve with the game. I think that that's a problem. But I don't think that you can say that he's not one of the best coaches in the country.
Yep.
He's won 2 national championships and played for 3 more, I think. Yeah, because they lost to LSU that year.
So Jace, I know you got to like number 14 though.
Hey, yeah, dude. 1 fucking conference championship to your name. 4 and
yeah,
14 and 33 against 10-win, 14 and 34 against 10-win teams after this past season. What the fuck are we talking about? I don't understand. I don't understand. Is that Bryce? Holy shit, Bryce is here. What up, Brycey?
All right, man. Look.
Man, it's our former partner here, man. Where you been?
That's right.
Fickle, I like Luke Fickle too. I saw actually some numbers today that made me think that Luke Fickle may be getting it turned around there this year. I wish he would have kept around Nick Evers, but yeah, I think that he's a good coach. He's a hell of a coach. He was killing it at Cincinnati, right?
Yeah.
Look, but I mean, guys like Jeff Brom. I like Jeff Brom. He doesn't have a great record. Jonathan Smith has got a losing record as a head coach in 7 years. A losing record. Dave Doran, what? Eli Drinkwitz, he just won. He had the one good season at App State, the only season he was there. Since he got to Mizzou, they won 11 last year. They had 5, 5, 7, 6 in his other 4 seasons. What? And this 11-win season, folks, came his 6 wins in the SEC last year came against teams with a combined record in conference of 14 and 34. 14 and 34. It's the weakest. I'm sorry that you're going to hate this Mizzou guy in here. That's a weak ass freaking 11 wins. I'm sorry, man. They were losing to Ohio State in the 4th quarter, and it was most of their third stringers were playing in the Cotton Bowl, including a third string quarterback. Oh no.
You know, Thunder OU Sooner. I know you mentioned that Gundy wins a lot of bowl games. You know, hell, if the season was just built on bowl games, he might be doing good. But unfortunately,
are you really
it's not all
come in
built
here
around
and take up for Mike Gundy on this show, Thunder? Blasphemy. I can't have it.
Bryce,
I have it.
I've loved that statement, Bryce.
That is blasphemous. That is blasphemous.
Bryce, I'm with you. I hope he does fix Nebraska because that's one of the, in my mind, one of the blue bloods.
I think that Matt Rule has proven that he can build a program. Now, the problem is that at Nebraska it's so hard because they don't have a recruiting pipeline anymore. When they left the Big 12, it hurt their ability to get into Texas.
Yeah, they lost the pipeline, no doubt.
You can't now. The portal can help them out, but I think you have to be careful with that, right? Well, what are we talking about Diddy in here for, guys? Are you serious? You trying to get me in trouble?
Oh.
Yeah, Jonathan Smith, though. Yeah, nothing. I like Jeff Traylor. I think he's one of the best coaches in the country. I don't mind him. But if he's on this list, why in the hell isn't BV or Marcus Freeman? Marcus Freeman's won 10 games his first 2 seasons. Venables took over a program that Riley set fire to on his way out. He's recruited his ass off, made them SEC ready. And don't tell me that you cannot judge a guy that has only been a coordinator, because I don't buy that shit. When you've been a coach and a coordinator for 30 years, and you've got national championship, what, three natties and another 6 appearances in national championship games. That doesn't speak to his ability as a coach. His recruiting, they've went 8-5-8, and they're trending for another top 10 recruiting class here. They just they're picking up more commitments from amazing players day after day. It is wild to me that you would have, I mean, we've had kind of this conversation already, Coach, but I wanted to bring it up. Kirk Ferentz, what? Are we serious? You know, I mean, he was playing in the Big Ten West without an offense. And yeah, I mean, you know, you could win the Big Ten West because Nebraska sucks. And so do the rest of them. Yeah, but now you got to deal with all of them, you know?
Well, I tell you what, Jesse Simonton was smoking crack when he put this list together.
Yeah, I agree. There was a Mizzou guy in here that had a Mizzou helmet. What did y'all kick his ass out of here? What? Rob 00 or Rob 077 is who I was talking about there. Neilio, welcome into the show, by the way. Yeah,
Neilio.
Yeah, he even said, yeah. Hey, Chicken, are you going after Brycey, man? Brycey hadn't even been on the show in a freaking year. Oh my goodness. Okay, cool. Only one good guy like that.
Atta boy, Rob.
All right. Hey, y'all take it easy on Brycey. Or don't. He wouldn't take it easy on you. I could promise he won't take it easy on you either. Okay, I'm glad you didn't.
Yeah,
oh, Chicken's all wound up because he was on that SEC podcast, is what it was. In any event, if you're gonna have guys, and like I said, I don't have a problem with some of these guys. I like Jeff Brom. I love Chris Kleiman. Jamie Chadwell, though, what the shit are we talking about? He's at Liberty. It doesn't matter if you win that conference. It just doesn't. Sorry. Especially when you go and play against a pretty depleted Oregon team and get beat by 50. I don't like it. You know, it's wild to me. Yeah, almost 2 years since you've been on. Well, we miss you. I see anytime you'd like to come on, and I can send you a link right now if you'd like to pop in.
Come on.
We'd love to talk. Because, you know, there's a couple of things that you and I brought up at the very start of this thing that have kind of happened. So, yeah, if you want to pop on, let me know. Yeah, and that 2 years ago was when I called Jalen Daniels after a joke season. Well, he was at Arizona State. I knew that you thought that they were going to be good. Yeah, and Jaden Daniels was good. He was good. Oh, shit. He said, give me 5 minutes. Were you going to just send it to your text messages? No, he's not. No, not an LSU fan. I'll kind of let him tell you. Where then? Oh, text. Okay, cool. I'll send it to him. All right, I'm going to stop sharing this stuff. All right, cool. Love that, man. Brycey's going to be on the show. That's awesome. Day. It's been a while since Brycey's been on the show, man. That's awesome. Love it. The original, the frenemy.
Yeah.
Bryce Johnson. The frenemy. The frenemy. Let's see. Chicken. Let's see. Let me find Bryce. Dang, I didn't even talk to him in a while. Here we go. All right, it's in your text, man. Pop in whenever you're ready. All right. What else we got? Yeah, so look, I just feel like when it comes to What do you feel like I think that where you're some of the places that you're strong at Notre Dame is kind of similar to Oklahoma too, but talk about where the way that they've built up that wide receiver room, because that was a problem the last couple of years, right?
Oh, yeah, it was a definite problem. And you know, one of the things they went out and obviously they've got some kids in there like on our field receiver side. We picked up a freshman by the name of Cam Williams that I think is going to come in and make some big time plays. He's good looking. He's 6'2", 201, good looking kid. And then Chris Mitchell from FIU,
Right.
Florida International.
And then Colsey is they're hoping they get something out of him, right?
You know what? We need to get something out of Colsey. Colsey's kind of, you know, he's kind of been hit and miss. So we do need to get something out of him. Super excited about Jaden Greathouse, the kid from Austin Westlake.
Dude, that guy's a stud, bro.
And he was having a great year early, but then he got that hamstring pull and he just struggled through that. We got a kid he was a walk-on lacrosse player, Jordan Faison. And I'm telling you what, he came on at the end of the season, and really probably by the end of the year, he was our best receiver as a walk-on. But he's hell on wheels in lacrosse right now. And, you know, Notre Dame's ranked number 1 in the nation in lacrosse, and he's a big part of that team. We picked up Jaden Harrison. That I think he's also going to be another kid that'll help us, you know, stretch the field vertically. We've got the other receivers that we have there. Our boundary receivers, Jason, are, you know, we got Jaden Thomas, big, good-looking kid also.
Like that guy.
He'll be a senior. And again, he's got those hamstring muscle pulls, and you and I talked about that a little bit. That's pissed me off a lot because we need to correct those hammy pulls. But another kid that we picked up, and I forgot about him earlier, but he didn't get to go through spring ball, is Bo Collins out of Clemson. Another good-looking receiver, 6'3", 210. But I think he's going to be another guy that's really going to help us as well. And then the freshman receiver, Micah Gilbert, looked really, really good through spring ball. So our receiver room has gone from having 2 or 3 guys that we might be able to throw to several guys, and it's going to look much differently. So super excited about that.
Hell yeah!
And I think we have. I think
the
again,
tight
I
ends.
think you can start comparing to. Oh yeah, and I you know, obviously I didn't talk about.
Mitchell Evans, I think, might be the best tight end in the country this year. I think that he's that good. Right?
And you know what? He is. He's a big, good-looking kid. Good hands. He's 6'5", 260. And he, again, he's another one that he had some. I think he had some surgery, if I'm correct. But you know, and that room's full too, Jason. I mean, I look at that room and we got Eli Raridan, a 6'7", 250-pound junior. We got Cooper Flanagan, another kid that played a lot last year, 6'6", 250. We got Kevin Bauman, 6'5", 255. Look at him. Look at him.
That was short-lived.
Take that Longhorn stuff off of there.
Oh my God, that was short-lived. I was saying, oh, what the hell?
Listen, here's why I wanted to get on here. I'm going to tell people a story right now. Okay. I got on this show 2 years ago after Arizona State Jaden Daniels transferred to LSU. I saw the kid play one time. And on this show, we were talking about that game, that LSU Florida State game. And I said, hey, this quarterback's good. I thought he would get it going quicker in that first game. But I told you, Jason, I said, hey, man, this kid's going to play in the league. And I got a little pushback. But if you remember, Jason, you texted me that night after he looked like trash at halftime and said, "How could you say that
He makes
on
up
our
shit all the time.
podcast?"
This is a made up state. This is a made
No,
up
it is
story.
not.
folks.
It
Yes,
is
it is.
not. He
I
says,
like
he
Jaden
says,
Daniels. I
"How
like
could
him."
you text me?" I mean,
Bro.
how could you? Sorry, you texted me and said, "How
Why
could
would I?
you?"
Why would I blame any
call
of that
him?
on Jaden Daniels when they were trash everywhere at Arizona State? Why would I blame that on him?
Hey, all I'm saying is it was halftime
Come
of
on,
that
brother.
game, and you were talking trash to me. I was just throwing that out. You weren't the only one. You weren't the only one. It's all good. Number 2 overall pick, Heisman Trophy
Hey,
winner. I mean,
let's
called it after
remember
a
that. Hey,
12
you know what?
touchdown, 12
Since you're
interception
bringing up
season.
old shit, what did you used to say about Baker Mayfield, bro?
Okay. No, you're right. He looks pretty good. He looks pretty good with Tampa Bay. Not bad. Now he ain't second best quarterback in the league, but you're right.
I didn't say he was the best quarterback in the league. I said that
You
he's
said second best. It's on. We got it on camera. You can go back and look at it.
I never said he was the second best quarterback in the league. You
Well,
see,
maybe you implied it, and I said it for
No.
you multiple times.
No. You told me that he was trash and didn't belong in the league ever at all. Period. That he was.
Well,
awful.
no, I did say that, and I was probably wrong, just barely.
No, not just barely. Not just barely. The best offensive coaches in the league love him.
Yeah, well,
Bryce,
just barely wrong.
Man, it's good to see you, man.
It's good to see you too. How y'all doing on here? Who's this man right here? My name is Bryce Pinson. What's your name?
This is Coach Roybal.
Oh, it's Coach Roy Ball. Okay, sorry, Coach.
What's up, Bryce?
I haven't seen you since 2005, maybe.
It's been a while, brother.
Yeah.
Yep. Coach's Hobbs Eagles played against Bryce's Lovington Kitty Cats. I mean,
They beat
Wildcats.
us at the last second on homecoming, and I still have nightmares about that because I knocked the ball right into Shano Sanders' hands, and he took it to the house. If I would have took Deion Sanders' advice, I would have just intercepted it. Because if you go back on the film, you'll see it. It's in my hands. I tried to knock it down, Coach.
Yeah. No,
Yep,
I thought you had it picked off. I really did. I thought it
did too.
It was a pick.
I still dream about it.
I still remember that game is like one of the most boring football games ever. It was like 7-0, or
it was awful. It was awful. Yeah. It was.
And on top of that, I was not well loved in Lovington at that point.
And Coach, another stat, I'm going to talk trash to you a little bit. I think I got to. Y'all had like one of the best rushers in the state. I think he rushed for negative yards against us that game.
Oh yeah.
Our
Eddie
defense
Jackson
came to play for sure.
That was oh my God, I can't believe I'm
Eddie
his name.
Jackson.
Eddie Jackson.
Eddie Jackson, yes sir. Eddie Jackson.
Yeah.
He was fast.
He was a good athlete. He was a good ball player.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, sorry to talk about high school, but that's the last time I saw you.
I love it, brother. I love it. It's all good. Hey, the one thing I can't hang my hat on about having coached football in Hobbs, I never lost to Lovington.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. I don't know if I ever beat Hobbs.
That I can tell you, they used to drive Speedy nuts.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah.
And Artesia, we didn't like losing to them either. Jason played for Artesia.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, and I don't
32
know if
state
ever
championships.
Jason,
32.
Did Jason, did you ever tell him the story about us going down the y'all's ramp?
I don't know if I've ever told Bryce that story or not. Maybe, but
did you plant a flag in front of their field? Y'all did that from time to time.
No, but
we did even worse.
Somebody came to him and told him that in Artesia that the visitors ramp, they call it the losers ramp or whatever. Because Artesia is not allowed. You're not allowed to go down that ramp at all as the visitor.
Oh,
ramp.
wow.
And it did get called that, but that's not something that they called it like outwardly. It was an inside thing, right? So he's asking me at practice, and I'm like, oh no, I don't know what you're talking about. I'm like, fuck, why did they tell him this? Because I knew what was going to happen. He wouldn't admit it, but I knew what was going to happen. So he waits and waits and waits. Coach Henderson's getting pissed about, hey, we don't go out until they go out. Would you get them to go out? And Coach Roybal was like, no, he wasn't going to do it. So he waits. Artesia goes down, and then they haul ass out and go down behind him. Oh, Lord.
I mean, it makes sense. I'm with you, Coach. I'm with you,
Hey,
Coach.
you know what? Don't tell me I'm going
I didn't
down the
think it was
damn
the greatest
Losers
idea because all it
Yeah,
did
there
was
ain't
get
no way.
you drug after that. But
ramp.
Yeah, if I would have
But you
known
know
that, I
what?
wouldn't have went down that ramp either.
But we had a hell of a ball game. We got after it. It was
for a while
good
you did.
battle.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
they had some really good teams at that time. They had Landry Jones,
Yep.
so they were good football teams. But again, I was just like, oh, why are y'all? I did not want to have anything to do with all that shit. And I was, of course, getting messed with about it for weeks after that. Who the hell told him about that? I said, one of y'all's asses did because I didn't. I lied about the whole thing.
You tried to tell me a lie.
I lied. I did not want to have it.
He was like most of those Artesia guys, lying about it.
I did not want to see it happen. I did not want to see it happen because I knew what kind of shit that was going to start. But
Coach,
looking
I
back
like you
on it
more
now,
and more.
it was funny. It was
talking
funny.
trash to him.
What's that?
Funny.
I like you more and more just hearing how you talk trash to him because an enemy of the enemy is my friend. So we're good friends.
It is the frenemy.
Absolutely, my brother.
Welcome back to the show, the frenemy, Bryce Pinson. That's how we used to introduce the show. I'm your host, Jason Watkins. He's the frenemy, Bryce Pinson.
Right.
Hey, and Bryce, I do have to tell you this. Talking about you have dreams about that play, but Sean O. Sanders, I tell you what, he's another kid. He's gone on and done very well for himself.
Yeah,
he owns his own trucking company, and I can't tell you how many trucks he owns.
Wow, that's good.
He has done incredible for himself. So
well, I'll tell you what, Coach. I remember me and Shano were always friends because one time we played y'all at a 7-on-7, and I torched him pretty good. And they were telling him to shut me up because my mouth never shuts, Coach. And they were saying, shut him up, Shano, shut him up. And I kept scoring touchdowns. I kept handing him the ball. He called me hands by the end of it. He just called me hands. But me and him became good friends after that.
Yeah,
really good friends.
Good guy, man. Good guy.
Absolutely.
So
that's funny stuff. He said on that, my mouth never stops running. I wish I had a fact one on here. I had something that said facts.
Oh,
I'll just do this since we've been talking about Oklahoma. Everybody's talking about Texas and in honor of your hat.
I haven't even seen the comments. Let's see these comments.
Hey, so Bryce, tell me, what did you feel about the Texas season?
You know what? I liked it. Listen, one thing, Coach, I'm not a Texas fan.
Okay.
I just hate Oklahoma. Oklahoma is
my
brand
least favorite team. Has finally returned. Your brand.
So yeah, I like it a lot, man. I like anyone who's playing Oklahoma.
Sure.
And I think Texas had a good season. I don't know where Oklahoma was. Did they play last year?
Oklahoma beat them.
Oh, they did beat them, but did they have a good season?
They went 10-2, lost the bowl game. They didn't get back to the.
Oh, they didn't get to the playoff?
No. But
okay. I didn't know they played last year. All I remember was Texas playing in the playoffs.
14 years between their conference titles, and second year in a row they lost to Washington. So this is what it is.
You can live in the past all you want, Jason. That's fine.
They lost to Washington again. They had it wide open in front of them for a national title.
Washington's a good football team. They made the playoffs.
And they just gagged it up, bro. Just gagged it up.
Washington made the playoffs. I didn't see Oklahoma there. So, I mean,
the brand has finally returned. Your brand.
Bryce, I do. You'll feel good about this since you're not on the show anymore, and I've taken up your spot with talking all the shit about Oklahoma.
Good. I appreciate that, Coach.
He does do that.
Yeah.
Look at all these Sooner lovers. Oh my gosh, these comments. They want to vomit. Oh, Texas! I don't care about Texas. I really don't. Cool. You can get mad about them. I just hate Oklahoma. That's all I care.
Oh man,
rile them up, brother. Rile them up.
That's why I'm wearing the hat. This hat's for you, baby.
We've turned this into a wild show. Shocking.
I'm sorry. I'll get off. I just wanted to come say hi, talk trash
No, man,
about
we're
the Jalen.
happy to have you, brother. Happy to have you anytime.
So what are you doing, Brian? Where are you living and what are you doing?
So I live in Scottsdale, and I'm currently teaching 4th grade. I'm trying to see if I can't coach some kids myself.
All right, that's awesome, dude.
Heck yeah.
You'd be great. You'd be great at it.
Heck yeah, I hope so. We'll see. I'll have fun at it though. We'll teach them to be men at least.
Absolutely. And we need that today. Yeah.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Well, hey man, I'm gonna have to call you. I'm gonna have to definitely get a hold of you and stuff, and we'll definitely need to have more appearances from you every once in a while, brother.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I'll do better at not just coming in talking trash and blowing the show off the rails. I'll do better at like trying to follow a script or whatever. So I could be like, oh, Oklahoma's good. No, they're not. I can't say that.
Hey, and we have no script, brother. No script.
All right,
There's
cool.
We know this.
Hey, call me after the show, Jason.
I will, brother.
I'll
Good
be
to talk
watching.
to you.
Good seeing you.
Thanks for coming.
All right.
Appreciate it. Later.
See you.
The frenemy, Bryce Pinson. My first partner on Hall of Fame college football. Look, some of those shows
really
are pretty good,
guy.
but you guys enjoyed when me and Coach screamed at each other that day. That was like a nightly occurrence when Bryce was on the show.
Yeah.
So there was a lot of that shit that would happen. So it was funny, man. He's a cool guy. One of my best friends. Love to have him back on. We've talked about it a lot. Me and Coach, we'd love to add him back to the mix in some way. So it'd be good stuff. All right. I don't even know where we're at anymore. Look, I think more than anything, I do feel like that there's a parallel here that we've kind of been talking about. Looking at that top 25 list for these coaches, I definitely believe both of these guys belong on it. If you're gonna have guys like Mike freaking Gundy and Dave Doran and Ferentz and Jamie Chadwell, then you definitely have to have these two guys on it. In view of look, Marcus Freeman came in and won 10 games 2 years in a row. And they they started the beatdown of USC that everybody else did afterwards pretty much. And they beat the shit out of them. This is what I love about Notre Dame the most. And what I've been telling all you guys that I love the most about Oklahoma coming into this too, is that these are physical kick your ass programs now. Agreed. Right? It's just is what it is. By the way, guys, he's not really a Texas fan. He just does that shit to pick at me. And you guys.
So who is he a fan of, Jace? I didn't even ask.
Kind of a Nebraska kind of guy. He likes Nebraska a lot. He grew up watching obviously Crouch. And then that was their last national championship, Eric Crouch. So likes them a little bit. A&M, he's went to a game at A&M. He might have gotten, pulled into their cult somehow because he enjoyed that. So I think that if there is a Texas school that he likes, it's not really the Horns, it's A&M. But I don't know that that's any better, but it is a little better, right? It is a little better.
I like Neilio. Nut for Nebraska.
See, and that works if you're an Oklahoma fan or if you're a K-State fan and really a Mizzou fan. They hate Nebraska too. Yeah, but everybody, Yeah, Bryce is more, he likes players. He doesn't have a ton of, I'll tell you what Bryce is like the man at. If you guys are, and I don't know if he's still doing it, but he has a TikTok channel that the dude, if you're a fantasy football guy and like daily fantasy and some of these, you want to win money, go watch him. He will show you how to draft, what to do. I've never seen anybody that knows not just daily fantasy, but any fantasy football. He is that guy. He never loses. So, and he'll help you. He should definitely, if he doesn't still have that channel going, I'm going to kick his ass. So we're going to talk about that anyway. Is he an Oklahoma State fan? No, he's not. No. That was one thing is Okie Light fans very early on started talking shit on this channel, and we immediately ran them all off except for Cody Light. You know, Cody Light's the only one that's kind of hung around. Hey, thanks, Legend. Let's see. Hated Husker after 27 years in a row. Yeah, look, I mean, oh yeah, well, I would too. Yeah. I mean, you know, that's just kind of what Mizzou does, though, right? Is lose to everybody. Sorry, had to do it. I like these teams.
No, go ahead, Jess.
Go ahead. No, I was just saying I like these teams because of the fact that they are now. This is the difference that you see, and you know, there's no more. There's a lot of violence out on the field, and I miss that shit.
Yeah,
I missed it.
Too.
I don't like that. You know.
Yeah,
I was getting tired of seeing the, you know, just softness. And
I like people just knocking the hell out of people.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I just love the violence of the game. But yeah. You know, I was going to say I'm a little bit of a Nebraska fan, guys. I had a kid that went and played there, Aaron Taylor, that won the Allen Trophy, and he played for us at Ryder High School, and so that
we were talking about that a couple of weeks ago. And Neilio said, "It was that Aaron Taylor that you're talking about?" And I was like, "Yeah."
And then I got to tell you, you know, Tom was an incredible coach there. Just a great person. If you had met him, you loved him. And just a quick story about him is he. I met him as when I was the secondary coach at Wichita Falls Ryder. And so I meet him, and, you know, we didn't talk maybe 10, 15 minutes. And so it's maybe 4 or 5 years later, he comes back. Coach Osborne comes back to put on or to talk to all the Wichita Falls ISD teachers. And so before it gets started, I walk down there. He's down there getting ready. And so I walk down to the podium and I said, "Coach Osborne, how you doing?" And I started to tell him who I was. And he says, "Well, Coach Roybal, how in the world are you doing? How are things going?" And then he converses some more. And then instead of the Coach Roybal, he says, "You know, Philip, I tell you what, the kids y'all have sent us to Nebraska have been great kids." And I mean, and for a guy like that to remember, you know, Philip Roybal, that was, I mean,
it was early in your career, right? Pretty early in your career.
Yeah. And why would he ever even remember me?
Well, by then you were already in the Texas High School Coaches Association, weren't you? There's a reason he remembered you.
But that just impressed.
No, he was a great guy, man. I met him. He was already done coaching. Coach Solich was still coaching, but I met him too. Yeah. And it was, I got to go to a game. I tell you what, you go to a game at Lincoln, Nebraska, that's a different freaking thing.
It is.
Unbelievable. I mean, the Sea of Red thing is real.
Yes.
And whether they're good or not good or what, that is a unbelievable experience that I will never forget. Loved it. I really, really respect him. It was awesome meeting him. You know, it's one of those guys that I've always said that too about Mac. I always liked Mac, you know, I mean, except for, you know, during hate week. But, you know, I was definitely glad they fired him because that turned them into what they were. But Mac was always good to me. He's always one of those guys that, you know, every time he would remember your name too. Yes. Mac was good like that, you know?
Yeah.
But see, Mac was different. And that's the whole thing we were talking about with Jimbo and Sark is still having that issue. It seems like Elko is trying to nudge back in with the Coaches Association guys, smartly so, by the way.
Yes.
Because they hated Jimbo. Hated him.
With a passion.
And you gotta have those guys on your side, man. You gotta have those guys on your side.
Well, and I know Jimbo recruited a lot of great athletes, but I tell you what, if you go back and look, there was a lot of great athletes that could have gone there that were Texas high school kids that didn't go there because he didn't have a relationship with the Texas high school coaches. And like you said, the Texas high school coaches, for the most part, hated him.
Who's that? Who did
Jimbo.
they hate?
Oh,
Jimbo. Oh,
Jimbo.
no, they hated
Jimbo.
him.
Yeah.
They hated his guts. Well,
Yeah,
he didn't have
despised
nothing to do with them. He didn't do anything with, I mean, they don't expect you to kiss their ass. They expect you to pay attention to what they need. First thing that Elko did when he got there is, what do you guys need from us?
Yeah.
And then he said they were the flagship school of the state of Texas, which I gotta say.
Hold on, baby. Hold on.
Ballsy statement. Hilarious, though, by the way. Hilarious. Right?
Let's not get out
I
in front
do
of
feel
ourselves.
like, I'm going to tell you what I think about Texas, though. Again, look, all this, everybody keeps, and you're hearing a lot of Mizzou fans doing the same shit. Do you realize that when you have that many guys go to the draft, first, second, third round, that many starters that get drafted, what usually happens to that team? They usually suck.
Yeah.
You know, you'd rather have 4, 5, 6, whatever. They usually suck. Something that bringing up, the way that these guys are doing things. Look, I know that if you go defense first, for sure that you're going to have an opportunity to win a championship. You're going to do that at Texas A&M for sure, because that's what Mike Elko is, right? You're going to do that at Notre Dame because that's what Coach Freeman is. And we already know about Oklahoma and where they're going first. You keep hearing things like, well, Oklahoma's not going to be able to handle it in this line of scrimmage league. What are we talking about? 11 offensive tackles right now in the league that played for Bill Bedenbaugh. He's been there for 11 years. He's got 11 current offensive tackles, just tackles. The best center in the league, Creed Humphreys, Bill Bedenbaugh. What are we talking about? That's offensive line. It's a new offensive line. It's not a bad offensive line. Do they have to, develop? Yeah, but that's what he does the best. I'm not worried about that. They are deep, just like Notre Dame on the defensive line. I was going through your defensive line. Howard Cross and Riley Mills. These guys are freaking animals, right?
Yeah.
And then you've got backing them up as what? Rubio and Anye?
Yeah, you got Anye and Rubio. Yep.
Brennan Vernon, Tyson Ford. You got some young guys, but a lot of another similarity.
You got Donovan Heinisch that's played quite a bit too. That's going to back up Cross. But you're right. It's we're so heavy. I mean, we're loaded in the defensive tackle and nose guard area.
Right.
But y'all have done the same thing. You
have to do it to win a national championship. Whether you definitely have to do it in the SEC. We continue to hear this about how they're not ready there. I would tell you that Sweat and Murphy being gone from Texas, that should be what people are worried about, but they're not. I saw somebody the other day say they're going 12-0 again. I don't even understand it. Their 4 best pass catchers gone in the draft. Jonathan Brooks, probably the best running back in the country, gone in the draft. Okay, I get that they got Nyblack from Alabama at tight end, and I get that they got Poe from there and a couple of other guys out of the portal. But the thing about Quinn Ewers is it took him a year of working with that other group before he meshed with them. Why are we going to believe that all of a sudden you're going to just be that guy with a bunch of newbies? I know your offensive line's still in good shape. I don't buy their defense, man. Their secondary is worse than it was a year ago.
Yeah, I agree. Well, and I keep hearing all this, how they're going to take the SEC by storm. But I do remember last year watching y'all's ball game. And if I remember correctly, didn't y'all win that ball game?
Yep. And they couldn't get a yard with that vaunted offensive line of theirs.
And that was a year ago. And y'all I mean, OU is much better. I mean, on paper, you guys are way better than you were a year ago, and not just on
They're
paper.
Smitty built, man.
Y'all
They're
got to
Smitty
see the
built.
spring ball.
They've got a serious strength and conditioning coach that was there all those years, and he's actually been a trainer of 7 Heisman Trophy winners.
Yep.
7 as a trainer. It's unreal, man. And again, the mentality is different. The mentality, you're not seeing neither one of these programs that's going to go and just try to refill their entire roster in the transfer portal. They go sparingly with guys that fit what they want to do. Right? Yeah. Kyle, you were talking earlier about the guy that we were talking about from TCU, Dominic Williams. It looks like you're probably going to find out something in the next day or so. Kyle, you said something about 48 hours. I expect that you're going to find out. They need to, but I feel like if Oklahoma wasn't still in it, that was the first visit he made. He was there the whole weekend. And apparently, according to what Stoy and them said, he almost made the decision. He's got an uncle that wanted him to take all these trips. I don't have a problem with that, but he didn't commit anywhere else either. And one of those trips was Texas. One was LSU. I think they still got a shot because I don't think that Venables would have waited to pull the trigger on somebody else if he didn't feel like he had a shot there, a real one. They like him. Yeah. They like him a lot. So there's something going on there. If that would be a mistake if he hasn't got a backup plan there. And he doesn't end up going. But I have a feeling that but I also don't think that they need this kid as bad as Texas does or LSU for that matter. So, I mean, I hope they get him because I certainly don't want either of them to get him. But I would just tell you that I feel like this is the year that you're going to see all this expectation. It's so weird to me. What I was telling you earlier is it's weird to me that you can see all these things, but unless you cover the program or whatever, you watch them very closely, it seems like most of the country doesn't know shit. And they're just, I don't understand how either one of these coaches are overlooked and their programs for that matter. Yeah. There's a lot more that needs to go right and perfect for Texas to excel again. But Oklahoma's getting picked to finish 10th in the SEC. I think that's silly shit.
I agree.
I think that if Notre Dame wins 10 games, they're in the playoff. There's no two ways around it. I think that depending on what happens in the rest, like in the ACC, I think 9 might get you in. Yeah. But 10's probably the schedule's a little lighter than it was last year.
Our schedule.
9 would have got you in last year if it was last year's schedule.
Right. Our schedule this year is a lot lighter. And I honestly, if we can get by Texas A&M in that first game, I think we got an opportunity to go 11-1 for sure. If we can win that A&M game.
I think that you get a really, that's a serious test week 1, man. To play at Kyle Field, no matter who you are,
it doesn't matter. Yeah.
It doesn't matter who you are. Hell, we've seen Alabama lose that game there.
Yeah. No, I'm overly concerned about that first game at A&M. But if we can get over that hump, I think we can go on a pretty good run. And like you said, well, our schedule is weak as hell this year. And it is what it is.
You definitely need to beat up on Clemson and USC. You got to beat Clemson and USC. If you do that, I think you're in. Even if you lost the A&M game.
I'm not worried about USC.
I'm not either. I'm not either. The Heisman guy got his ass whipped. Now you do have to go to the Coliseum, but
right.
What is that? It's not the same. It's not the same as it used to be, man.
No, it's changed.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, he's losing his mojo there.
Yeah. And you keep seeing these guys that are coming and going over there. They've lost offensive linemen even. I think that these defensive coaches are good. I don't know that it's going to matter. I don't know that it's going to matter because I don't think that Lincoln has fully bought into all the changes that he says he's making. When you don't get rid of the strength and conditioning coach, that's the Tybo teacher, I don't know what you're thinking. And you go through all the trouble to get these defensive coaches and recruit, and you want them to do Tybo instead of freaking lift weights. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. It's just weird.
I love it. I'm glad. I hope they keep doing it.
Yeah. Shout out to Buc-ee's. Thanks, Legend, for that.
Hey, wipe your feet, guys, please. Please wipe your feet.
Yeah. CW Caleb cries a lot, man. That guy cries a lot. He went number 1. Well, I think that they put him in a good position to be able to win. Now it's is he a leader? And did he? I think that Lincoln did him no favors as far as teaching him to read a defense. And the hero ball shit will not cut it in the NFL.
No.
It will not cut it.
Nope.
Try to run around for a little while. You're going to have a defensive end planted up your ass.
Yeah.
Because they're all 5-star guys at that level. They are. I mean, those defensive end guys they've developed into that cat. That's wild, man.
Hell, when we played him last year, we embarrassed the hell out of him. It was
bad.
He played horrible.
Yeah. Let's not Kyle Freeman. So you went downhill after the Red River game. I don't think. I mean, well, he couldn't beat Utah, and then look, we saw it. I'm going to say this one more time. I predicted 8-4. They did me one better at 7-5. Everybody thought I was insane.
Exactly right.
Everybody thought I was insane. Well, all the other creators that we talked to and stuff, they're all
you were right on the money, brother.
And I was like, and honestly, they were a 2-point conversion try from Arizona away from starting 6-0 and going 0-6.
Yeah.
And hell, they could have lost the Colorado game too. They damn near did. They tried to.
Well,
it was wild.
If Colorado would have picked up the pace a little bit, they could have won it.
If they'd have played with any kind of I mean, just act like it matters. Shit, get out there and play. They had no urgency whatsoever in that last 2-minute drive. It was insane to me. Insane to me. But yeah, obviously, I think that, again, I just feel like it's going to be a fun watch. I mean, we keep talking about that you could probably see these two programs in the playoff if it goes either this year, maybe next year, something like that. I kind of see that being one of those. It's going to be one of the.
Let's play each other. Let's play each other.
I'd love it.
God, that would be a hell of a fun
It'll definitely
week.
be good for the show. We'll be talking lots of shit. It'll be great. No, man, I'm excited, man. What do you guys all think about it? Where do you see? You guys give me your opinions. What do you see Notre Dame doing this year? What do you see? I mean, I kind of feel like I know where you guys are at with it, but give me a prediction. Notre Dame, Oklahoma in there. I want to see what you guys think there. Get that sub count up. Hey, if you guys already hit, we've had quite a few guys in here. So already, let me see where we're at. As we have had about 300 and we've got 25 likes on the show. So that's like not even 10%.
Come on, guys.
Help people us have liked the show. Come on,
we need your help, man. That helps us out, guys. All you got to do is hit a little like button to help us.
Help us out. If you're on the other channel, make sure that you hit that there as well. But I think most of them are all right here. So get in here, help us out. We've had 300 on this channel so far. So we've got about less than 10%. Come on, folks. Help us out. Wipe your feet as you come in. How will Coach feel when Notre Dame shuts out you suck it this year? Probably the way he always does, but go ahead.
No, I'll be super excited to give them another ass whooping. I mean, the more ass whoopings we can give Notre Dame and Lincoln Riley, the better off the world is every day.
Yeah, Notre Dame could go and they hate you guys the same. It's very similar to, Oklahoma and Texas, boys. It's very similar. Very hateful. Very hateful. It's fun stuff. 9 wins. We got a lot of 9s. We all watched a 5-7 team go 7-5. Yep. That's correct. We're talking. That's Lincoln last year. So 9-3, 10-2. Kyle's got Notre Dame and OU going 10-2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's pretty realistic, guys.
Let's see. Neely, thank you for the super chat, sir. White, your feet, y'all. Great show. Fantastic community as always. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Lemon, that's where I'm going to be watching the game. What are you talking about?
Yeah. Correct. Ooh, Notre Dame 15-0, so they're going to win it all.
Cool.
I'm thinking Georgia's. I'm picking. I think I'm picking Georgia this year. I think that
they're a little pissed.
I think they are too, and I think they got the. I mean, they've got one of the best quarterbacks in the country coming back. The only question for them isn't a super question because they've recruited in the trenches on the defensive line and everywhere better than any of the rest of the teams in the country right now. So I think that that's where they are. Notre Dame 10-2, 9-3 for Oklahoma. I could see that. Okay. Yeah. See Louisiana Conjure going on with you too. I like LSU a lot more than a lot of people do as well. But I would tell you that I think that there's some questions there. The one question that I don't have, they're going to have another Malik Neighbors because that's just they grow those kids down there. You do realize that. I mean, they got those receivers. They get them. So I don't have a worry about that. I don't know who the kid is yet, but I'm sure we'll find him. If Nussmeier can keep his interceptions down, because that was the issue why they replaced him with Jaden Daniels was because he was interception prone. But their defense also has to take a step forward, and I don't know that they can do all of this in 1 year. But I like LSU. Speaking of all this, though, tomorrow morning, after I get in, I'll be doing a stream. Not sure exactly what time yet, but there are some odds for every SEC game. I want to go through those. I think somebody finally, and this is from a guy, I'm going to have to buy into his little program there, but the college football professor, not our professor from High Top, the CFB professor, he's got a Patreon page. The guy's really good. He does recruiting reports and different kind of stuff like that, game reports for a lot of companies. So he's really good. What do we got going on? We got some
guys
crazy
rip me up. They rip me up, man. They say some of the funniest stuff. I love it.
They don't give a shit. Somebody's asking for my prediction on what?
LSU, USC.
LSU and USC opening weekend. Ooh, let's see. It's in Vegas. Yeah, I think LSU wins. I think, let's say 27-17.
I'd say 35-14.
LSU?
Yeah.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
All right. Well, thank you, Rob, for coming in. We appreciate you. I know we kind of busted your chops a little bit, but we appreciate you interacting with us, coming in here, talking
great job, Rob.
and what you said earlier on there about what was going on with the tornado stuff. We appreciate that too. So thanks a lot for coming in. Appreciate it. Yeah. Listen, I think the question for Notre Dame is how, if first off, is Riley Leonard healthy?
Yeah.
Because same kind of quarterback as what you saw out of Jaden Daniels. He's a dual threat guy, great runner. I think he throws it. I mean, he's probably not the runner that Jaden Daniels was, but I think he's a better passer than Jaden Daniels was.
Yeah.
So I like him in that situation. I'm kind of with Coach. I think that you're going to find out a little bit about him week 1, in College Station, because you're going to go up against one of the better D lines in the country too. Because that's one thing that they didn't lose at A&M.
Right.
Actually, they hadn't lost a ton. They lost some guys. They're deep
lost a
still
few,
on that defensive line. That defensive line is still very deep. Their secondary is a little questionable, but they added a bunch of guys there. So I think that I like Connor Wegman. I think that, and I believe that if Klein's offense fits this kid and they can get, some good running, then A&M's going to be hard. A tough team. They're going to be a tough out for everybody. I love their chances against Texas. I think it's going to be a fucking slugfest week 1 though with you guys.
Yeah,
it's going to be like 2 trains running into each other.
I do too, and I just hope we can come out of there with no injuries. That's the other thing, because I agree it's going to be a physical ball game.
Kerwin talking shit. He said I got USC from Louisiana and hating on LSU. I love it.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's some good stuff. Kerwin talking some shit.
That's funny.
Yeah, we appreciate you. No doubt, Rob. Yeah, this can be a block scene. Guys are crazy. Yeah, look, it's going to be one of those games though, and it's going to be rowdy in there. But you're going to learn something about them. Even if I think if you go in there and play down to the wire with them, you never know what's going to happen in those toss-up games. But
right,
you're going to learn something about yourself that day, and it's something you can build on. I think I think it's a tough ask to have them go in and win like that.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's out of the realm of possibility. We've seen them lose for sure.
No, I
mean?
think
We've definitely seen them lose.
I just hope we've learned
beat them there a couple of years ago, but they got a different coach now.
Right. Well, I just hope that if we go in there and it's a close ball game down to the end, that we at least play with fucking 11 players.
Yeah.
And not 10.
No doubt. Look, that's the thing. And then, somebody said that in there earlier. They're going to have 11 on the field this time around. I think that, again, this is where you have to ask. This is where the next step for both of these guys is to flatten that learning curve, to take on responsibility for the things that you've been too busy trying to do too much. Now be the CEO, do your job, let your coaches do their job, and make sure, because you can't have that shit. You can't have stupid shit like that.
You can't.
Right? You can't have at Oklahoma. We can't have running backs that hadn't been in the game for a month coming in and taking a direct snap when you got a drive going.
Yeah.
You can't have it. Or running a damn jet sweep when you can run. Or running the jet sweep when you've been killing them with the outside zone.
I knew that one was coming. I knew the jet sweep was those words were gonna come out.
Yeah. It's just weird play calling and stuff. But if you're Coach Venables, you have to be the guy that says, "Hey, I don't want to see that fucking play again." Right? I mean, it's what you have to do. That's his
job. That's his job.
Look, man, it's your record. Stop the autonomy, all that autonomy stuff. No. Manage the team. If we're getting off a game plan, handle that. That's all. I love Coach Venables, though. I think that what they're doing and the way they've done it it's refreshing, number one. I know a lot of people are worried about if they close this guy or close that guy. They're going to close the guys that are supposed to be Oklahoma kids. They are. And they've sent enough of them to the league to know that you're going to be all right. You're going to get some of those guys. You may not get them all. Some of those guys are only about the money. They don't give a shit about that. They don't want those kids. They don't want the kids.
Right.
This is how it is. See you, legend. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. I do feel like they're headed in the right direction. When I look, when I watched the Pivot podcast with Marcus Freeman on there, I didn't know a ton about him. I came away from that very impressed. Very impressed.
Yeah.
I was very impressed that after they lost that Ohio State game, he owned that shit. He owned it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't I don't know that it was all him, but he owned it. He needed to own it. It's his job. But I like the guy.
Well, and I'm a BV fan. I love BV. I think he's always been upfront. When he recruited us at Skyline, we had some great conversations, and he's a top-notch, not only a top-notch coach, guys, but he's a top-notch person.
Right.
Unlike your past head coach, he really is a classy, upfront guy, and I'm a fan through and through of BV's.
Yeah. Well, and I think
he's a winner. He's a winner.
The guy's a winner, and he says the things like, I remember you saying that you got to have guys that embrace hard.
Yeah.
They know it's going to be hard, and they accept that, and they want that because they're going to be better for it.
Yeah.
Because and it's not a fake thing. The guy says the same shit every day.
Every time. Yeah.
He's never off brand. Never.
He's not making shit up and just blowing smoke out his ass. It's he means
it. And I think that the kids would know that if he was. That's the whole thing, is that kids ain't stupid. They know if you're a fraud or not. And you've heard a lot of these guys, you were talking about Lincoln, a lot of these guys, since all that, even the guys that loved him, they could tell that last season that something was wrong and that they knew something was shady.
Yep.
That's all there is to it.
That's just like they figured out Jimbo Fisher at A&M. They knew he was lying to them. They knew he was full of shit.
He was a used car salesman. Hell, shit.
Absolutely.
Colin Cowherd had him do a quick pitch at the end of an interview he did with him one day. I thought he was trying to sell me a Buick.
Oh, I love it.
It's all about, and you heard it. He would just go look at the recruiting boards and be like, go get them all the 5 stars. That's what I want. Because he knew he had the money to go do that. That's not, you can't do it. You can't do it.
Yeah, no, I agree. Hey, Jason, and off topic a little bit here, but we're building at Notre Dame a big, we're adding it on to our facilities there. A multi-million-dollar brand new state-of-the-art indoor facility
really?
For the football program. Yeah, it's going to be incredible. It's going to rival any college program in the nation.
They kind of did already, didn't they? But because everything I've seen, they're already an insane facility.
Yeah, but now it's even going to be even better than that.
Wow. Yeah.
And again, that's another thing that obviously we all know. Kids like to see that and be part of those kinds of things.
Right.
Well, that'll help their recruiting as well. We did just pick up a kid, Jason, by the name of Dallas Golden. He'll play cornerback for us. But there was a lot of top-notch programs, the Alabamas and the Georgias and those types of things. But how can you let Dallas Golden go when it's the Golden Dome of Notre Dame, our defensive coordinator, Golden.
Right. Golden.
So how could the kid not go?
Got an Urlacher there this year too, right?
Yeah,
got an Urlacher there. What, did you see much of him in the spring game? Did he look good?
You know what? I didn't see a whole lot of him. And I think he made a couple of plays.
I saw his film from high school. He's definitely good. I don't know that he's as good as his dad was, but in high school.
He's going to be a good ball player for us, I think
he's good though. Yeah. Well, and the times that I've seen Brian on podcasts and stuff talking about him, he's like, he He doesn't want to use anything from me. He wants to do it on his own kind of stuff, and which is tells you a lot, because the one thing I'll say about Brian grew up tough. He didn't have an easy life. They were definitely not wealthy people growing up.
Right.
And so for him, he was able to, I tell you, I think that it's tough though when you're from a rich family now. So that's why a lot of them kids don't do that, right?
That's right. That's
particularly Hall of Famers kids. You know what I mean? And he's first ballot Hall of Fame guy. Is what it is.
Well,
oh, look at that. They're still there. I knew you were going to get some of this shit talking. Even Neilio talking shit about Notre Dame. Notre Dame arrogance.
Explain to me, guys, because I'm really I like to hear what is the arrogance?
I don't know.
I really, and I'm not trying to be a turd. I really want to know what arrogance are we talking about?
Why do y'all? And I don't understand why it is that everybody wants them in a conference so bad too. What's up there, C. John?
C. John. But Coach, no, that's not but your personal opinion. Where does Notre Dame land this year? Oh, Kim, just like your belief in the OU Sooners, I see them in the playoffs. And now from
they've got a line to the playoffs for sure. I think they've got to win those major games, or 2 of the 3. I think you got to win 2 of the 3 big games.
3. I agree.
Do you have Louisville again though?
Oh, we need to beat the hell out of Louisville this year.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think Jeff Brom's another one of those guys that he's a good coach, but I haven't seen him do a ton either. Right. But they were good for a while. After it seemed like they fell off though after they beat Notre Dame last year. Right? You got to win that game.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt.
Just to piss people off who don't want to be in one. Yeah, that's the. I got to tell you, that's exactly why they're doing it. They don't. First off, they can control their entire schedule this way. That 1% cut that they're getting from the CFB, the college football playoff, 1% of it's $1 billion a year for 7 years. So that means that's what it's $1 billion a year, and 1% of that would be not quite. It's not $100 million, right? No, it'd be $10 million. That's a $10 million payout, which is about the same as the SEC and the Big Ten. So everybody's talking about that they didn't get the same. Yes, they did. They did.
And guys,
and they got a $65 million year deal from NBC.
And we're also getting ACC funding.
Yeah, because you play pretty much all the ACC teams or part of it. Anyway.
Everything else is ACC. Yeah.
But they get to control their schedule. They get to control their schedule and play all of their rivals. I get that, Now, I will tell you that all that shit you were talking about, that schedule from last year, y'all better not lose to anybody.
No, you're exactly right. I'm with you all the way. I mean, and you've heard me say even tonight.
But I also think that you should be able to do that, man. I think you should be able to do that this season. I love their defense. Their defense is really good. Their secondary may be one of the best in the country. Their defensive line is definitely probably a top 5 in the country. I think so. Depth-wise, I think they're right there. I do think that there's a lot of things that are similar. And it's the more you talk about them, the more I see similarities from these programs. I think they do things a lot of the same way as well,
and Jason, going back and talking about the arrogance, I think sometimes people
just stirring the pot, fuckers.
I love it, Neilio.
I love it too.
I think sometimes that arrogance that's put out there is the fact that we don't want to get into a conference or won't get into a conference. But guys, go back in time a little bit. Look at even some of your own teams. Guys, many football teams were independents for a long time. And it was their choice to get into conferences. And it's just been Notre Dame's choice not
The
to
Big
go.
Ten could bitch all they want, but they could have had Notre Dame in a conference a long time ago. And they
Yes.
refused because of the Catholic stuff.
That's right.
So there's a lot of people at Notre Dame that are throwing it up to the Big Ten, particularly Michigan.
Yep, absolutely. And the thing is, guys, unless we are forced, the only thing that's going to force us is to not be able to win a national
No
title.
access. No access.
No access to a national title. That's
And I'll tell you another thing that kind of went in their favor. It doesn't, that whole, the way that they were wanting to do it, to go up to the next one and have only 2 buys and only for the Big Ten and the SEC, that isn't really floating yet. I think it may end up happening in like 2026 and beyond, but for right now, that got shot down. So I don't know that you're completely out of being able to have a buy, but I don't think it's going to end up mattering at some point, right? To me, I'm telling you guys, the one thing, if you're Notre Dame and you can play whoever the hell you want to every year, and if you hit 9 and 10 wins, you're going to go to the playoff and make the same fucking money as everybody else. Why would you go? I wouldn't either. I would not either.
It doesn't.
I am happy about Oklahoma being in the SEC because it's going to better prepare them for a national championship game than what the Big 12 ever was going to do. They can win a natty. I'm not saying they shouldn't have been able to anyway. We didn't have the right guy, but from where things are, your best chance is to go in and win in the SEC in the toughest league in America, period. I think they're prepared to do it. They've got the right guy for that. But if I'm in Notre Dame shoes, I don't go to the conference. I don't.
Yeah, we're different.
Not until you have to. Not until you have to. If they take away your access, which they will never do, they're never going to take away Notre Dame's access, man. They are worth too much money.
And Jason, thank you for making that point, because why was even Notre Dame at the table when all these discussions were going on? And it's because, guys, I don't care if we're playing a football game, we get a lot of television. People are watching Notre Dame, whether I like it, you like it, it doesn't matter, because it's not just a national brand, guys. It's a worldwide brand, and we're going to have a seat at the table. And if that's what the arrogance is,
if you are anywhere close, they're going to have a seat at the table. There's more Catholics in this world than anything else. It is the way it is, man.
But yeah, I just, and again, people drive me crazy about that conference. Join a conference.
Well, yeah, why? But then most of it is, it's coming from Hank because he's trolling the shit out of you.
I love Hank. I love Hank.
I know you do. But and I'm going to tell you this. The people that are bitching about it in the Big Ten are most of them that don't give it. If Michigan's talking about it now, it's because they want more money. And same with Ohio State. The rest of those schools that are in and around, your Purdue's and all your other little half-ass schools, they don't give a shit about having Notre Dame in the Big Ten. Or they do. They're like, oh, well, how come we can't get in as easy as they do? It's your Purdue's of the world and your Minnesotas or Wisconsins. Look, go win freaking games. But what I will say, Notre Dame will play whoever. They don't care. They will play whoever. As long as they can play SC every year and they want to play Stanford every year.
Yeah.
As long as they can do that, they're good. They're going to play Michigan every 3 or 4 years. They'll do a home and home with them, and they'll do the same with Ohio State. Play them every few years too. They don't duck anybody. Clemson, they've been playing
you.
in during the freaking height of Clemson's power. They've been the thorn in Clemson's ass.
Yep.
So it is what it is, man. But it has been a long time since they won a natty. That's for sure.
Absolutely. It's been a long time.
There's no two ways around it.
Go back and look in your own programs, guys. Look at the great programs. How many years did they go
hard
without winning?
Yeah.
I mean,
look, Georgia, until Georgia won a couple of years ago or 3 years ago now, they hadn't won one in 40, 50 years. Hell, Michigan just won its first single on, non-shared national title in 50 years. What are we talking about?
Exactly. I mean, and that's what people get caught.
Colorado had won one since then. Shit.
But you know what, guys? We may not have won a natty, but we won a lot of damn football games.
Yeah.
I mean, we sat at the top of that list, guys. Whether you like it or you don't like it, we've won a lot of ball games. I know it's about winning the natty, but guys, only one team does that every year.
It's the hardest thing to do. And it's not going to be easy we're talking about Oklahoma having a real shot at it, and they will. I still say that their best shot is 2025, but that doesn't I believe they're going to win one. But when you start getting into a playoff situation where it's multiple weeks, it's not just a 4-team anymore, anything can happen now. You might win a 2 or 3. You may not win. I mean, you might be the best team getting knocked off. It happens in the playoffs when you have multiple playoffs. Any sport. The NFL, for instance. How many times have you seen a wild card team win it all? They get on a roll and they go win it. They have no business winning it, but they do. And these things, it's about who gets hot at the right time. And look, we're going to find out. I think that Georgia is the best team this year, right now. As we look at them, they're the best football team, right?
And they're pissed off.
More. Right.
And they're pissed off.
They're not easy to come by. No, I mean, listen, Timothy's right. And I mean, as a West Virginia guy, they were on the verge a couple of times. I mean, when Rich Rod was there, that was a disgusting freaking football team.
Yeah.
Oh, they used to kill. I still remember that damn Fiesta Bowl. I don't want to remember that Fiesta Bowl, but I do.
Yeah.
And they were that close. He should have never taken that Michigan job. And you remember he was going to be the coach at Alabama instead of Saban, and then he turned it down.
Mm-hmm. Why? Because Alabama wasn't very damn good.
They weren't, but
yeah, but you're right. He turned it down.
Yeah, Pat White, dude, that was the year I'm talking about. Yeah, that Fiesta Bowl.
Yep.
Still have nightmares about Pat White. That dude was insane. I don't think that's the problem at all, Eric. You know damn good and well that ain't the problem.
We have an identity. A conference, no identity. That guy, no, we don't. We have, and you know what? The last time I checked,
touchdown Jesus and the Golden Domers and the Newt Rockney win one for the
identity.
No identity at all. Damn it.
No identity. No. poor Irish. They have no identity.
Yeah,
I love it. I love it.
Awesome. And listen, but here's the thing. Could Saban have done that in this era now? I would tell you no. Because I don't think that somebody said something the other day and it made sense to me. And they were talking about that Saban, the reason that he probably retired was because of the fact that he beat Kirby and kept Kirby from winning 3. And now the chance of winning 3 in a row it's almost out of the question now. It's almost out. You already couldn't do it, but now it's not a 14 playoff. Now you're playing 12-team playoffs, and it's going to get bigger. Winning 3 in a row, no way. Right? Oh, I'd love to have him on the schedule again. I remember the year that when they called back the Rocket on that punt return. Remember that? And they had Colorado beat. That was the year that Colorado won the Natty, wasn't it?
Won the Natty. Yeah, they sure did.
And Rocket ran that Rocket Ismail ran that touchdown back, and they called a clip, illegal block.
Sure did.
I was watching that at my grandparents' house.
Were you really?
We're like, whoa. So it is what it is. I mean, look, I'm just saying that as far as it goes for guys, you guys got to stop talking politics in here, please. Neither. I don't know that there's forgiveness there. I think they're both slimy. Lincoln Riley it wasn't that he left. In fact, I'll tell you this.
Happy he left.
If you are not feeling like Oklahoma got blessed when Lincoln Riley slithered away in the dead of night, then we're not thinking right. Now, the way that he did it, trying to burn the program down on the way out, that was the worst part of it.
That's bullshit.
But I'm going to tell you now, I'm grateful that asshole's gone.
Yeah.
No two ways around it. Because he was right. He could not recruit elite defenses to Norman. He can't do it in LA either, but he sure as shit couldn't do it at Oklahoma, and we see the guy that can. They were never good. You know what, that Nebraska bullshit line that you keep hearing about, the Nebraska, the SEC crap that people like Texas like to say? That might have been true if Lincoln stayed. But I will never forget that. And I don't think that anybody should.
No.
Because it wasn't just the fact of what he did. The guy had his staff recruiting for USC mid-season.
Yeah.
I heard by the time the Iowa State game came around, which was pre-Red River.
Wow. Incredible. Well, and I tell you what, there's some correlations there since you have Brian Kelly's name up there. Brian Kelly, he's same way. Terrible. He wouldn't recruit. He was always on the golf course and made excuses about why they couldn't get 4- and 5-star athletes coming in. The way he left, he comes in and talks to the players for about a minute and flies back out.
That's that's what Lincoln did.
Exactly.
And
that's
Stoops had to basically say, I'm gonna kick your ass if you don't get in there and talk to them.
Exactly. I mean, that's just horrible. I mean, I don't give a shit who you are. You don't conduct business that way. Those were your kids. I mean, obviously you didn't. You know what? And at USC, I would have been concerned. At LSU, I'd have been concerned that I'm bringing that kind of a person to my program.
They don't really care that much about LSU, brother. They don't.
Yeah. No, but it's
Slimy is okay there. Slimy. I mean, look, the guys that have won that, he's there. Coach O. I mean, Coach O's funny when he talks about it, but he was pretty bad, and we know what Les was doing. He was insane.
Yeah. Craziness. LSU's crazy.
A lot of that same shit was going on when he was at Oklahoma State. They almost got rid of the whole group of them, including Mike Gundy, over that shit. There was a big cover-up that went on there, and Mike was right in the middle of that. People don't like to talk about that, but that shit did happen.
Yeah, I agree, Thunder. He is a weirdo. Likes to dance with the players and try to talk like he's
a little weird, right? The way that he does the whole recruiting thing and he's dancing, and then trying to talk like he's a Creole. Come on, fella. Yeah. We know better than this. You're a freaking Irish Catholic from the Northeast. You don't have that. You do not have that accent. Yeah. Well, they got a lot of money down there too, though, bro. Kyle Dave got a lot of money down there. He's not forgiven, Eric. Are you crazy? It's not about Caleb Williams. I don't care about the Caleb Williams stuff. It was the fact of what he was doing. I also think that to an extent, like I agree with part of what you're saying is that, look, Venables needed his own program. He needed his own guys. They all want their own guys, right? You got to get your own guys.
You do?
Now, Caleb Williams, maybe they win a natty last year if they had him. But then again, maybe not. It just depends. With that defense, maybe. But they also, he would have developed different. And I would still tell you that I mean, look, if you look at Dylan Gabriel's numbers, they were identical to Caleb Williams last year. Identical. The point is, you had to, what did Venables state when he got there? We're going to rip it to the studs. It's got to happen. Nobody wanted to hear that shit, but he said it. And until they flipped the roster, now there's 4 guys left that were on that roster that were recruited by Lincoln and his people. And they're team leaders, but they hadn't become that yet. The last 2.5 feet of the highway leading west out of Oklahoma is named Lincoln Riley Highway. Be gone, stay gone. I mean, I don't know, but I don't, and yeah, Caleb's he's a little off. He's a little different. But Sooner Cowboys 6 and 7, but you had to have it. You would never be where you are today without that season. And I would tell you that had it not been for, and Lincoln, Lincoln did not want to play Caleb Williams. He didn't want to play him. Because, and had he not, they were having that season the year before. Look at all the games that they won by the hair on their ass. Anyway. Hey, I'm not eating either one of those. I think I'll go hungry. Yep, going hungry.
I might eat a mile of shit before I had either one of those.
It had to. I mean, look, you can't have a rebuild. I said this before a long time ago. I will say this one more time. You could slap up wallpaper on it, and it looks good, but it's still lipstick on a pig, guys. It was never going to be that until it really broke, all the way broken. They were never going to rebuild it right. You go to the playoff, get the shit kicked out of you. You try to do this again another way. They never tore it back and did what they had to do, and they partly because Lincoln didn't know how. Secondly, he just wasn't willing to do. He still thinks he's just going to outscore everybody. It's not going to happen. Yeah. No. No, I agree. I think if Caleb, yes, I believe that. If Caleb Williams didn't come in for Spencer Rattler, and good riddance to that little fucker too. Bye. I'm sorry, I'm not a Spencer guy. Not. I think he's just not a fan. No. Yeah. Come on. What? Yeah. Without Caleb Williams, Lincoln Riley, you probably have the same record as Colorado. Oh, there's no doubt. You guys got to remember his first year when they played for the Pac-12 championship, they didn't have to play Oregon or Washington. They didn't have to play them. Well, they lost twice to Utah. But they got away with the one in the Rose Bowl against UCLA. They got away with one at Oregon State. They should have lost that fucker. Got away with that one. And then the rest of the teams they played were pretty bad. Washington State, come on. Yeah. I heard somebody say that he was the quarterback of the future of the Saints. And I was like, so the Saints are going to suck again, huh? I was like, oh, so they're going to be like the Aints again? Is that what we're talking about? Shit. Oh, man. I don't know about that. I think that he was ruined when he got there. The kid was entitled little asshole when he got there, and he never really changed. Yeah, this is a bad thing for you guys, Kerwin. Not good. Not good. Derek Carr's better. Yeah. Yeah, dude, that guy. He's got a big arm. He's got more arm talent than Caleb had. But when he gets under pressure, done. Guys, we've been going for 2 hours. I gotta get to work, but appreciate. Yeah, I've never been a fan of his. I wasn't a fan of his when they won the Cotton Bowl and beat Florida that year. I still didn't think he was the guy. So, I mean, he was the least talented. He had the most arm talent. He just didn't have the rest of it, to me. Spencer Rattler, Jamarcus Russell. You think he's got that kind of arm? Because Jamarcus could spin it too. But yeah, maybe he could spin it. But he was. Yeah. Well, I mean, think about it. That Oklahoma pulled him 2 years in a row out of the Red River game. He got back into it the first year, but 2 straight years at the Red River game, he fell apart. Now, he got it back together when he came in the first year, but if it wasn't for, what's his name? You guys know who I'm talking about. The one for the backup that came in and settled him down, and they didn't get behind. But what makes you know what was really going on to me was that it didn't take Lincoln long to jerk his ass out of that game the first time around. He waited till it was 28-7 to jerk his ass out the next time around. And he had Caleb Williams waiting. Yeah, Tanner Mordecai. That's who I was looking for. Yeah. And I like Tanner. He was good. He was good at SMU. Yeah. Dude fell apart under pressure. Fell apart. All right, guys. We're going to go ahead and make sure that you hit that like button on your way out of here. And look, again, check out all of our sponsors. Check out our show merchandise. You've got the Coach Don't Give a Shit shirts in there. We've got, hey, if you've noticed in there, these shirts that I've got up here at the top left on next to the coach ones, scan that and it'll give you something. You got to buy that shirt, but it's a scan horns down shirt. And then there's another one that's a secret message. I'm not going to tell you what it is. It's good shit.
I like that one. I love that one. Yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I plan on having us in fact, we should record it in a second. But what we'll do is we'll do a little one and it'll go straight to our webpage and we can give them a personal message. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So good stuff, man.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So get in there and check that out in the show merchandise. That's hofmedia.us/pod-merch for all you golfers out there. Or even if you just want some nice, comfortable clothes for the summer, Melreg Performance Golf Apparel. You don't have to be a golfer, and some of that stuff isn't quite as flashy. You got normal colors, as you can see, but it's unbelievably comfortable, much cheaper than you'll ever find pretty much anywhere else. Melreg.com/JW_HOF. Again, if you're not on Mint Mobile, I don't really know what to tell you guys anymore. You got to go check it out. $15 a month. It's worth it. Best. It's on the largest 5G network in the country. You're not losing anything. And you can try it out for 3 months for next to nothing before you switch fully. Appreciate it, guys.
Lemon, we need to get you there then.
Yeah. What is short with a big arm? He's not as short as you think he is, Kerwin. He's a pretty big kid.
I love you guys. Y'all are tremendous. Y'all are the backbone of what we do here. Thank you.
Absolutely.
And Jason, thank you for allowing me to be a
man. I love having you on the show. I'd like to thank Bryce for coming in tonight. It was good to see him again tonight.
That was fun.
I got Coach back tonight, and the frenemy showed up in here too. I loved it. So, Bazoo, Brycey, Ryman Lim, and Jimmy Satterfield, appreciate it. Kyle Dupuis, Stink Ass Cat, one of our faves as well. Who else we got? Obviously, our guys, Bishop Frank and Hankster and Charlie Tassilo showed up, another one of my high school buddies. Appreciate that. Thunder OU Sooner, Bazoo, Chicken. Let's see who else. I don't want to miss anybody. Rob 077 from Mizzou. You guys were nicer to him than I expected you to be, but he was okay. Always, of course, Neilio, our boy from KC Mo. We appreciate it. Kerwin, love to see you in here again, Kerwin. It's good to see you again, brother. Yeah, who else do I miss? Ryman Lemon, Mars Jams. Who else? Make sure I don't miss nobody. We appreciate all you guys. Again, you can become a member of the channel as well. That's hofmedia.us/join, or you can just go right next to that like button that you should be hitting anyway and click the join button there. And you can be a part of our CE. There's another one. I knew I was going to miss some people. Yep. Guys, we appreciate everybody coming in here for sure.
Absolutely.
Love having you guys in here. We love talking ball with you guys and talking trash with you guys. It's a lot of fun. Make sure you hit that like button on the way out. We will see you on. I'll see you in the morning, but we'll see you on the next one. So, what am I doing?
What you doing?
I don't know.